band room somewhere in America. The music halts. The director looks over at the clarinets and realizes that they need to rehearse a certain line, a certain phrase, a certain rhythmic pattern. The adjustments are made. The music resumes. Rehearsal continues. In a few short minutes, the director will stop the ensemble again, and they will begin to rehearse the same line, the same pattern, the same phrase, with a different section of the band. Hey everybody, it's Travis Weller. Thanks again for joining me for the 2-Minute Clinic. We've all been there, right? It's not an uncommon occurrence. It can contribute to our frustration as directors. We can get frustrated with our ensembles. I'm going to suggest today that the problem might be addressed if we as directors commit to building a culture for listening within each of our rehearsals. One of my teachers at Kent State, Chaz Baker, said something to me that was very profound and yet very useful. Music exists as a series of patterns, and sometimes those patterns repeat. We can learn a lot by listening, and our band rehearsals are no exception. When the band stops playing in a rehearsal, do our students know how to listen when their section isn't being rehearsed? More importantly, do they know that they are supposed to be listening? I don't know of a band director in the United States of America who has ever wished that his bands would listen less during a full rehearsal. Concepts, principles of musicianship, and ideas about interpretation need to be shared to improve student development and the eventual performance of repertoire that we happen to be working on. None of those things that I mentioned, though, need to live in isolation apart from the other parts of the music. Everyone needs to know what that information is and how it might impact and influence their contribution to the sound canvas. As musicians and as educators, conductors, our score study, it should really readily identify the ensemble-wide concepts and principles that we're going to need to work on. We are likely the best musicians in the room, and those aspects are going to leap off the page to us. To less experienced musicians, though, these aspects of rehearsing, performing, and development might not be as obvious. We need to be intentional, and we need to be deliberate in our approach to listening. It's our job to help students make the connection to the recurring concepts and principles that are going to happen across an entire piece of music. Guided listening activities should not be relegated only to general music or to a music appreciation class. The ears of our band members are ready for the challenge of understanding the deeper texture and the overarching ensemble-wide concepts that must be addressed to bring about a better rehearsal process, to bring about a better development as a musician, and eventually a better performance by the entire ensemble. If you don't want to reteach the trumpets to play something that you previously rehearsed with the clarinets, tell those trumpet players exactly where to look in their music as you start rehearsing the clarinets for the first time. Sometimes it can be a matter of shaping, phrasing, and expression. With younger students, it might be a problematic ostinato or a rhythmic pattern that continues to recur throughout the piece. The younger the ensemble is, the less experience they have, and for that reason, we need to be even more intentional about focusing their ears towards when we are rehearsing other sections. This topic is a vertical conversation that can have program-wide implications. Consistent emphasis on listening throughout an entire program through all grade levels in a band program can make a significant impact on our effectiveness and efficacy. With younger ensembles, directed guided listening can really help with classroom management. With mid-level groups, it promotes students self-regulating their behavior in addition to planting ideas small things that they can do to make improvements in their performance and development. In older ensembles, it really encourages students to get beyond notes and rhythms and to get to that true meaning of the music as they are consistently and constantly learning how their part integrates and interacts with all other parts of the piece. It's easy enough to build a culture for listening. And just taking some of those small steps of asking students to mark their music with extra information is a great first step. Calling out multiple measure numbers when we know something is occurring in measure 23, but it comes back in 45 and it's coming back again at 95 in three different sections, it activates the ears of the entire ensemble to pay attention to when we address this concept the first time. Modeling both negative and positive examples to help students hear the difference, it allows you the opportunity to lead by example as a musician, not a conductor. And asking questions of students to compare two different sections of the band and giving them a specific concept to listen for can also help develop those musicians and their habits for listening. Don't tell the band just to listen. Tell them where. Talk about the what of it. Talk about the why of it. Model how to do it. Ask them to demonstrate so that you can hear that they understand. It's never too early and it's never too late to build a culture of listening in your band program. This has been Travis Weller with the 2-Minute Clinic. I'd love to hear some of your ideas and strategies that you are using to promote listening in your ensemble. Drop them in the comments section below and share with everyone. Until next time, life, love, music.